Pushing live on TradingView.
Oh my God, 0.1.
Yep. Good afternoon, everybody. It's RT here with Hxro Labs, episode 28. Nick and I on together today to round out the week in what has been a remarkable couple of days now. I guess just a day and a half for Uniswap has a token. It was free for everyone, and they still didn't sell it. At least not everybody. I did sell it. I actually sold mine right away. Paid $50 just for the privilege, and I took that money straight to the poker table last night to be a big dirty degen, and made a couple $100. Turns out I would have made more if I just held on to my uni, but that doesn't matter because I had a great time. Now, we're going to get into that today. The legacy markets, I believe you just said, made a new range low. Is that correct, Nick?
Yeah, S&P not looking too bright. Top of the hour here.
Yeah, we'll touch on that. I've got a hankering for a trade on Neo that I'd like to talk a little bit about. And we'll just kind of do our usual dive through the market, looking at a few things. Main feature today will be this UNI token and what it has done for crypto this week, because it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of put a whole bunch of bullishness back into the market. And we're going to dive into that. I know Nick, if I may say, has a big fat long going on. So if you see a little shit grin on his face, that is exactly why. And he's going to get into that right away. Let's dive over to the uni chart. I know you have one up, Nick. You might have two. And start there.
Surprisingly, I haven't been charting this thing. It's just a huge momentum play. Like, I've been watching the on-chain analytics more so than the chart. Like, I already knew what the chart was going to do, which was increase in value. Like, we've had the majority of people, I think over 60% of addresses have claimed or moved. And, moving doesn't necessarily constitute selling, but, a majority of the people have sold their Uniswap token well below under $4. So it relieves a lot of selling pressure. And like look at these new highs. On every high here, we're having increased volume. This is a signal of.
Yeah, I'm going to pull up a chart here. I got it here, and we're actually parked in the fib extension. So I really like this level. I'm going to pull it up right now.
Yeah, that's really all it can do at this point is fib extensions or some type of measured move.
Yeah, I mean, you know me. This is where I take profit. Okay, this is actually where I take profit on a chart. I mean, again, and let's start off today with this, just to be absolutely clear. Nothing we ever say on the show should be considered financial advice. It's for entertainment and educational purposes only. Now, I just rush to sell because when I get free money and I realize 400 million other tokens are out in free money territory, it's just a no-brainer for me. I'll just take that profit. I'm happy with that. I'm not looking back, wishing, wondering. It's just another asset. It's moving. It's very easy to look at this and be like, oh, I wish I did something differently. But, I just follow a set of rules, and those rules, help me sleep at night, and that's great. Now, the point is, it has now ended up in this fib extension. So this is, I mean, it's certainly not a place where I'm rushing to FOMO back in. There was a breakout here earlier. I think this is the 15-minute. Yeah. So like this morning, I think this morning I actually tweeted out like there was a little breakout here and there was really nice volume coming in. So let's dive into this. Let's see if this fib extension is for real. I think there is going to be, we talked about this earlier off stream, there's going to be a ton of interest in the governance of this because it really is a governance token, but it starts as a governance token. And that doesn't mean it's never going to be a profit share token, right? It could,
be a dividend token.
Yeah, they could end up making it a dividend token, and then this thing would really launch. And that, there's conversations around, is Uniswap
It'd be an interesting experiment.
It's going to be very interesting. And, as a market analyst, I'm just excited to watch this thing evolve and chart the shit out of it. And, I'll probably catch some really, some trades along the way as well. The last time I would have taken along would have been right here. Really nice bullish retest, like to the pip, the stuff we always talk about when you got an uptrend. So that was a nice little setup this morning as far as catching that continuation. We're now up into this fib extension. I bet there's actually sort of confluence with 2 here. If you take this smaller range, yeah, we're up here as well. So all kinds of reasons to cool your jets if you're thinking about going to buy. not advice, but I really wouldn't be rushing to grab it now. I think there was a really nice bull flag breakout down here. I think there was another little breakout here, and there will be another chance to get long on that if this is your flavor. It's just not after an extended move, even though, hey, look, not a whole lot of divergence on the momentum. I mean, momentum's
It's picking
strong.
up.
It's just yeah, it's picking up. It's just a really tricky bet to make money by chasing things that look really exciting.
Yeah, like
I
all good things in
we
crypto,
talk
these
about that all the
things,
time.
yeah, these things tend to favor those who move early, and obviously your risk just gets piled on the longer you wait on this. So, yeah, from a technical point of view, I 100% agree. This thing, at least back to 6.5 before you could be even looking at this, and ideally, that 5-6 level would be a great
Yeah,
great
and you can
entry.
see here it did stop up beautifully on chaos right here.
Yeah.
And then just continued right through. So, $10 mark is a big friendly round number. I know a lot of people saying, double digits. And if that's the case, that's a big mental number for people. And yeah, the 4 hour chart is fucking bullish. German says, let's check out the 4 hour chart. I think there's going to be only a
It's
handful
probably
of
just a
candles.
straight green candle up.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely bullish. Let me just fix my mic here. Reports of quietness.
It's interesting. This is interesting timely for this launch, considering the markets are at a huge pivot right now. Ethereum, Bitcoin, XTZ, Ren, like they're all approaching these really big pivot levels right now. And I think what's going to happen is all going to come down to what happens in the legacy markets. Just our correlation is so high right now. U.S. dollars setting up there and that possible inverted head and shoulders. Gold and commodities have been consolidating really tightly. I think we're going to see a move in commodities probably next week. Before the end of the month, there's going to be another 5% move in commodities. And the expansion is to be determined, but the trade will be easy to take on that one. Yeah, I just think like with this Uniswap stuff, there's just so much demand behind this. Like I think we were talking about it earlier. Like our problem with governance is that it's very easy to get a centralized control over governance, and if you have something this large, there's huge incentives for competitors, for example, to be looking at this. Yeah, that's the danger. The downside risk of getting large stakes in this is that the liquidity in these decentralized platforms moves around very, very quickly and easily. Like we had 2 billion TLV, and then within 48 hours, it was down 75%, right? So it's not a guaranteed business model. If another competitor comes around, you're going to be quickly drained. Look at the TLVs in SushiSwap. Like they're all falling as one platform becomes a liquidity sink for everything else right now. So
Yeah,
it's
Cream
interesting.
took a hit this week.
Take a big
Nasty
hit, like like a nuclear
which is
bomb went
sad because
off on Cream
and
holders.
I was among those who was bullish on Cream, didn't own any, but I was like, okay, 70 to 100, I'll get interested again. Plowed right through to
Yeah,
50. I think it's hovering around 80. Haven't looked at it in the last hour, but it's one that I
yeah,
am
like
watching. I don't know why. I just like the look of the layout of the platform, and I thought, okay, this is one I want to get, and I'll stake it, and I'll do some liquidity stuff, but I'm waiting. I'm going to wait for some bullish market structure. Right now, it's just, that's a monster dump. Look at that thing.
I actually took a long off it around $50, and that's just straight up. I went over this on my stream on Wednesday, and at that level we identified everybody was buying 123, 124.
Yeah, and there's some guys here in the chat asking if you sold. Uh-oh. What's that echo? Nick, did we
I
lose
think my
you?
audio cut out. Yeah, I did. 1 second.
Nick got new headphones, I think. Is that what's going on here? Is that what you're doing to me? Yeah. Well, there's a question around. Just mute him. All right. So Jonesy said he somehow sold the top on Cream. Nicely done, bro. I think there was some on the wall. There was a few levels I had charted up. I can pull them up today. Really nice. And that dump was just savage. Now, actually, flip over to my screen here because you can see Uni. Um, not for the sake of calling tops, but what a level on Uni. I mean, it's uncanny. Like this does not mean that this is the top for now, but just like we see so many times, right? These fib extensions, it just smacks into them. And look at that. Oh, savage. There you go. Fib extension validation. And that doesn't mean, panic out like again, right? Doesn't be the top, but it's just sick how these levels come in and somebody was waiting for that level and put a nasty little dump in there. Um, I'm bullish on Uni. I think it's definitely in an early uptrend. I just want to remind you guys it's like a day or two old. And I think it's kind of funny the culture that's already emerging around this coin, which is like, hey, when did you sell, bro? Or like there's this quiet side crowd that just never had any, which is sad face. If you didn't, shout out to you for having to deal with this because I'm sure it's getting really obnoxious. And then it's like, it's almost like, what level did you sell at? You still holding? And there's this division now between people who knew it was going to be bullish and people who just wanted $1,200 or whatever it was. I'm happy with my decision, and I think I'm a trader, so there'll be some trades on this thing, but it's just another asset to me. And the fact, like it could just go if I'm really that bullish on it, I can just go buy a few hundred back. For now, naturally, I've missed this move, and I need to start thinking about what I want to do next. I'm actually not looking at this right now. Let me tell you what I'm looking at this moment because it's kind of timely. I pulled up. We're gonna have to zoom out a bit, actually. Okay, first, let me frame this, guys. I've got an idea. I got an idea on how to short this market if that's your flavor. Personally, I think there is a lot to be said for the higher time frame throwback stuff that we've been talking about, and we're coming into a very critical moment. Like this is a weekend where I'm going to have a really hard time. I mean, really, it's a whole week, whatever it's going to be. I'm going to have a hard time looking away because we are either on the brink of a continuation, which is going to be intense and exciting and violent, probably, euphoric upside, or we're at a pivot where, and I guess I should have this on the Bitcoin CME chart. So we're at this really critical level on Bitcoin that we've been watching. And, we had the big savage dump, which to me was a signal that the daily trend is going to change. So I've been saying, get this bearish throwback. So this is a critical level. Do we blast through? And, I'm all for it. I've got some Bitcoin. I'd love that. We can get some longs on the other side. Or is this time to be thinking about securing, batten down the hatches, get ready for the storm, and we're going to have a little shitstorm through, fill this gap, maybe the election, maybe end of year tax selling. Who knows where that'll go one level at a time. So on that note, because Bitcoin is not in a short RLZ, I don't have a setup here, right? I don't just mindlessly say, I think it's bearish, so I'm going to sell. Like I need a setup. That's my plan. But look at this. I noticed Neo right here. Can we mute the keyboard there? So VPVR node right here. Now this is a chart we put out. I put out at the start of August, whenever that was, and basically saying, once we come through here, we should get a retest. Now it's come right into this extension level, right into this SR level, right into the VPVR node. I mean, this is a place where I'd be thinking take profit, and I typically wouldn't rush to just short a big tall candle, except zooming in today because I do feel like there's a potential pivot coming in. Because I do feel like there's a potential pivot coming in, I'm looking for lower time frame setups, and it might actually happen right here live on the air, which would be pretty sweet. So you get this wedge on the 5-minute. It actually shows up as well. Let's check the 15-minute because you get a better look at the divergence. So, I mean, look at this wedge, right? So you got price moving up kind of sheepishly, higher highs, higher lows. Yes. Internally, though, you can see the RSI is not playing ball. It's not following along. It is making lower highs. So the momentum is wearing off on that move. And let's see on the MACD as well. In fact, there are a couple of divergences coming in on the MACD. You had one right here. Price made a new high. MACD did not. Again, right here, we had a larger one back here. So there's a few signals to me versus Bitcoin that Neo is close to this top. And so when you get this really tight invalidation, that's when I like to show up and start hunting setups. Because like imagine this does play out as any kind of pivot, whether that's a midterm pivot, even a week-long pivot. The invalidation being this close is insane. I mean, with leverage, with margin, be careful if you're planning on doing anything crazy like copying old RT here. But when you can get a size, right? You can trade with size here, and I'm risking what, 0.5%. For example, 0.5% of $100,000 is $500, right? So you're only risking small. You can take a fairly large position. I mean, that's my thing. Like that's why I like to trade that way. So everyone's watching Uni. They're feeling very bullish. They're thinking this is going to give everything in the market a big new boost up. I'm not buying it personally. I think Uni is very exciting. I think you should be happy about that. I sure am. Got, nice chunk in the bank. But here's where I went short on Neo. I shit you not. Big fat orders right up into this short RLZ as high as the 886 because I'm only risking to here. In fact, I hid my order just above $26 initially just to hide that friendly round number. But now I've moved it down to the highs here. And so with this, I mean, the RR is insane, right? And let's see. I think my average entry, actually, I've got on my other screen here, 25,661. So that's like, yeah. Right. So these kinds of setups come in, and it just happens that everyone's looking the other way and probably, I mean, like 0.5%. And I've already hit like a 4-to-1 RR related. So probably after the stream, I can move to my break even point and then just ride this thing. And if it does crap out, cool. Otherwise, it's break even. Whatever. No harm, no foul. Anyway, so that's my rant on Neo. I like the chart. I think this could act as a nice hedge coin for someone who wants to, protect capital, but doesn't feel like they've hit. I mean, because you can even see the USD pair, and I didn't quite hit all the objectives that I had initially seen. But with the BTC pair and then the majors flipping sort of bearish today, you can see here. Let's get the old Bitcoin chart up. I expect a little more consolidation here. I don't think it's going to dump right out. You can see I've been following it on the fibs. Really nice consolidation stuff. But if this rolls over here, if we lose this level on the hourly and confirms, I mean, you guys can already see that, right? That is your bearish market structure. So, not praying for this stuff to go down for the sake of it going down, but I sure as hell want to be hedged. Now I am using Neo because if these roll over, that thing will tank, and it'll probably actually come down harder because it's gone up so much. I mean, you can see it on the Neo chart. It's had a really, really good day and a really good week. So that's how I'm doing it. I found that setup. I'm short. And I think in the meantime, because now I'm in that position, while that position's in place, I can now be a little more aggressive if I do find something that I want to play bull on. So let's see if we get Nick back here. Okay, we might just have to leave it. I'd rather not.
I'm back. I am here.
Okay.
A lot of technical difficulties.
We got him. Is he going live? Okay, nice. We got genealogy here from the trading pit saying the issue with Cream was a combination of pool bug deciding weirdly to do away with pool lockup and futures launching all around the same time. Yeah, that makes sense. And I wouldn't say let's go over to Cream now. Is it over here on Uniswap Vision? Yeah, it is. Let's take a look at Cream. Now, look. I mean, this looked like a bull flag ready for continuation. I had a chart on Cream. It wasn't that I was saying I'm short Cream or I think it's going to go down. I just wasn't going to be interested until it came into my levels. So, You can call it what you will, but these RLZs, I mean, you guys, if you watch even one episode of this, you'll know I'm obsessed. And look at that once again, right? And not only does it arrive there, it stops there. And it might move through, but you can usually get some setups in here, and it also aligns a lot of the times with breakout levels. It's just crazy. I mean, you start to see this whole market fractally, and why did it go up so much to the point where the breakout level became the RLZ, which it is now here, basically confluent to a T. That's 786. So why did it stop at this top to set that up perfectly? Well, it probably had something to do with fib extensions going the other way. And is that because people are trading them, or is that because the Fibonacci sequence is just fucking crazy and it's all over nature? Like, don't get me started on that rabbit hole now, I'll tell you, because I'm obsessed. Now let's just reverse that quick and see. Yeah, it actually went beyond that fib extension, probably to the 2 level. So yeah, this stuff's pretty wild. And I am suddenly interested in cream. The reason I wouldn't rush to buy myself, you guys know me, I want to see it arrive in a place where I like it, but I also want to see it show signs that it's done moving down. Now, this is a good sign. We got the MACD coming in, slowing it up. We've got that flip here to the bull side, which is a confirmed bullish divergence. And now I just need to see this, right? I need to see this trend change. So instead of making lower lows and lower highs, it's going to make a higher high to tell me that it's ready to move back up. So that's what I'll be watching for on cream closely this weekend, because I do want to get a bag. And I'm happy to hear genealogy. Would you say, I'm assuming you're still watching, would you say that that issue with cream is fixed now, since you are following along fairly closely? Blood hitting the streets. Another potential $10 test. Okay, let's go back. Oh my God, this is an exciting day. There's so much happening. Let me get Uni up here. Let's check it out on the hourly. Yeah, smacked right into the fib extensions. Nice to get live confirmation that not only does TA work, but this TA works. This stuff is fascinating. And I will be consistently writing up the same targets in the same areas for entry, because over time I've just realized how often they play ball. So pretty sick. And like, yeah, big top kind of sell volume coming in. So they are trying to put a top on this, whoever it is. Now, if you're a whale and you're super bullish on this thing, yeah, you want it to go up, but you also want to manipulate it. You want to push it down so you can get a lot of people out and you can have more for yourself. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Was that a little Elliott wave? We'll find out. For now, again, start of the show, this was not an area to get long. That kind of stuff, got to be careful. Let's see if there's a little structure. Yeah, so it's coming off a little bit. You know me, I'm already out of my buy zone. You can technically short it now on FTX and Binance as well, so you can expect to see lots of price action on this. It's just going to be fun to watch. I'm happy observing this. How are you doing over there, Nick?
I think we are okay now.
Sounds good. Hey, Beauty Bubble says
Work
Neo
through
has
it.
more market
Yeah,
participation.
like I said, there's just a lot happening in the markets right now. XTZ's making its way down.
I don't know what's going on. Is Nick on? Yeah, okay. We're gonna cue Nick in for a 10-minute here. We're just having issues hearing each other on the back end. Flip to Nick. They can't hear him.
ETH, see, this is why we're kind of concerned overall about the market. These bearish throwback levels. We need to see ETH over 395 if there's going to be any hope of continuation on this. Anything above then we're gonna be clear for 420, 445. But if we do break below, led by these legacy majors, we definitely expect a retest of this 315 level, right? If that goes, 286, 285, and this is a great level, right? This is untested resistance support flip. ETH can come down to these levels and still be bullish in high time frames. That's what happens when you move over 500%. There's some room to come down and maintain market structure. So don't go panicking just yet. But again, I think everything is going to be moving off what happens here with the US dollar. And right now, it's setting up. It's very simply over like this, setting up the inverted head and shoulders play. What's that going to look like? What's that going to do to the crypto markets? Let's take a look. Got your left shoulder, nice head. This entire area down here is a monthly support level. But if we are moving down below these range lows, then you could expect crypto to be doing pretty good. Finishing off that right hand shoulder, where would we be looking for this to go? First target, range resistance, right up here around that 1240 mark. And then finally to the bearish throwback. If it were bullish, it would put some market structure like this in and go up. Anything up here, crypto is going to be taking a topple. Moving over, again, SPX, if it breaks and holds below these lows, yikes, we're going to be looking for a return back down to 3230. This is, we're calling it untested. Again, it's very similar to crypto with the throwback levels. Market structure would be violated off these all-time highs not holding, but it wouldn't be lost as long as this level holds. And again, commodities setting up for a big move here. Probably happen before the end of the month. 6% on either side of that, either headed to back to the range lows down here. If those break, back down to 1800. If it breaks to the upside, 2050, price discovery, who knows where that could go. So this is what we're talking about on the bearish throwback levels. It's a very similar chart across all the
I don't know. I'd say slide me back in here. I'm having trouble hearing them. Okay. All right, guys. Sorry for that little mix-up. I think we got a new sound thing going on with Nick, and we're just gonna have to sort that out another day. So let's dive back in here. What are we looking at on Bitcoin? And this is actually a good time during the show for you guys to start getting in a few of those requests. I think this weekend it should be all eyes on the majors because they are really going to set the pace. Be careful because Uni is the sexiest thing to look at right now, but I don't think it's going to be driving this market. And I don't think it has the power as much as I'd like to think it does. I don't think it has the power to reverse what is a high time frame pivot area for Bitcoin potentially, right? So we've got some market structure. I mean, this is a obvious clear fail with volume. So the question is, when Bitcoin gets back up here, what's going to happen? And if it doesn't quite make it, that is a bad sign, right? If it gets rejected here, cool. If it breaks through, cool. If it doesn't even make it there and we get some little rolling over, that's not a good look, okay? And then the fact the last time that happened, and no, I'm not going to draw a comparison to the pre-corona dump entirely, because I just think this is a different thing. I do not think we will see this. That would be absurd. But the setup for it, similar, right? We had the breakdown with this sort of marking the end of this little uptrend. And then there was our bearish throwback. We didn't get up there. And it was an accelerated continuation, right? So keeping an eye out. I don't think, again, that's not a comparison to this. That was a little bit more based, I think, on the FA and some other things going on. I know for me, I was like exit all markets when I heard Trump finally tweeting out that they were going to close the European border. That was like my final straw. I was already short, but I thought, I'm going to sell everything, and it worked. I mean, it ended up tanking out quite a bit, and I had some dry powder. Now, I don't know what's going to happen here. I'll tell you though, I am going to be watching the lower time frames because on the daily we are at that critical level. So to get a hint of what might come on the daily, I want to watch this hourly. So right now we're bouncing at a very good spot because you do not want to see the hourly close below here. That would confirm that structure on the lower level. And that doesn't mean it's like full doomsday, but that probably brings us down to the next area of interest, which is right here in this little RLZ here, confluent with this node. Actually, we'll stretch that out to get a real clear picture of the VPVR. Right. So, a breakdown from here would take us into this lower level, and then we'll just have to figure out what we're doing there. And that's not everything's off the table. I mean, it's very possible we could just come in here and chill and then go hit 11.2 and then even go beyond. I mean, market savage, it'll do whatever it wants, but it's one step at a time. So right now, this is a critical level. In fact, it's so critical that I'm going to go set an alert there because I don't want to stare at this chart. And if I get distracted and do something else a little later, I still want to know when this breaks. I'm actually going to use the wick, even though the close below body close is most important. 738. So if 10,738 breaks, I'm going to get an alert on my phone. Thank you, TradingView. And we'll say possible market structure fail. And that'll remind me to come back and look at this chart and figure out what I want to do. Other than that, I mean, if you're a bull, you've got yourself right off this little move up here. I mean, we're just parked on that 786. There's probably some scalp longers out there, and that's why it's going to bounce here, and we'll just see who wins the battle. Right now, bulls are going to make a push. If that happens, and this is how you get these consolidating triangles, then you can expect to see a push up into this area. And then, it's kind of absurd, but it's fractal in nature. And then if you get up into there, you're going to get all bounce back down to here. And that's how we will end up with a triangle and how we're going to break out from that pennant. In fact, that's to me what is the most likely because it seems like all eyes are on other assets right now. So I don't know that this has to make a huge move right now. We're going into the weekend. CME is really the driver during the week. And right now, it's not really doing a whole lot. Let's actually zoom in a little more. This is from last Friday, this little squiggle I put on. I'm going to hide it for now because I want to keep it on there in general. But last Friday, I was thinking, okay, this week we'll get a bounce up here. That's, if I'm feeling bearish after all this dumping, it's this level where I'm going to act on that vibe. And again, if we get front run, that's not great. So let's see. Okay. Yeah. So the CME, did the CME confirm? No. So the CME bounced right back up in the 4-hour, didn't manage to close below, which is great as far as being a bull goes, because you don't want to see when you get this lower high come in, you don't want to see the fail. Because you get the lower high, okay, cool, potential reversal. But once that lower low comes in, that's confirmed. And that's usually why when that does happen, you get an accelerated move because everyone's watching going, okay, we're going down, sell it. So for now, we've held on, and that's really good news. Otherwise, right, it's just consolidating for now, which after a move up like this could be called a bull flag. So let's keep an eye on that. Now let's get back to the chat. Genealogy mentioned about cream, which I'll put back on the chart. So the pool issue is sorted. Yes, it was creating double rewards. Not great, especially if people are selling their rewards for cash. There was a whale on FTX with major size who was hedged short and just dumping massive cream rewards. Yeah, and it's, correct me if I'm wrong, it's a food token. It's one of those, yield farm tokens. So the token itself is a reward, and presumably to claim your reward, you'd have to sell it. And I think during these uptrends, they can get pretty intense because no one's selling because they're bullish. But as soon as that changes, it's rushed to sell the food, right? So again, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's my understanding. And that's why these things can be so volatile. Tons of fun, super depressing. Tons of fun, super depressing. And it kind of goes, stands to reason that if I get something for free, I'm more likely to sell it if the second it stops gaining in value. That's why you got to be careful with these. And that's why I haven't bought any food tokens. I might farm them, get them for free, then sell them, sure. But yeah, look, you can actually just see Bart Simpson's little face in there. You're right, that is a nasty little Bart chart. So yeah, unfortunate, but I still have faith in Cream. As a protocol, I just thought I looked into it a bit on the way up, and I was like, oh, this is sexy. I'll see if I can get an entry, and it's certainly coming back into an area where I can start to get excited. So I'll be keeping a close eye on it. And if it wants to be like that Uber food token shit where it just sells out and well, I won't waste any time or money sitting in it until I get that. God, that's ugly, but that reversal structure. So me keeping an eye on cream now, very interested. I'll have it on my chart every day until I get a position because it's into the interest zone. Um, Finally, Genealogy says the team has since reduced over incentive API and is discussing other governance related solutions to help recover the token from the brutal dump. Discussions include token burn mechanism to reduce token emissions, reintroducing lockup times, etc. Very nice. Okay. So that's my thoughts on Cream. We're getting into the back half of the hour, which means it's time to dive into as many shitcoins as we can with the time we have. Uh, Unfortunately, Nick's headphones are having some issues today, so there's a bit of bounce around echo. So we may not get back with him today. So I'll take you through a few of my majors and macro charts that we haven't looked at yet. Dominance is just chilling, just parked in there, not doing a whole lot, consolidating. It looked like it was going to make a push up to test here. It did not get there. You can see I've got my alerts set at the highs and lows. And while this is happening, it should be party time for alts versus Bitcoin. That should just continue as long as the dominance is staying fairly flat. And that's what we're seeing in things like Neo that has had a really nice run this week. Quick check back on Uni, nothing too crazy. But yeah, I mean, you can see Neo's been just ripping versus versus Bitcoin this week. So we should see a continuation of that while Bitcoin hangs out. I don't know about Neo, but a lot of the other ones. Let's see versus USD, or excuse me, versus Bitcoin. How's Ethereum doing? So here's a chart that doesn't look too friendly, but I found it. I drew it up and I couldn't get it out of my head. So this is one. Now look, this still makes me concerned. Again, let's just put aside fundamentals because I think that Ethereum should be outperforming Bitcoin in the near term, midterm, and possibly even the longer term with just all the applications it has. It doesn't have the same sort of sexy world reserve currency as Bitcoin, so that's another debate for the ages. But I get all that, okay? But this chart just looks gross from a bullish perspective as far as like, is this where I want to sell the farm, get all my Bitcoin and wrap it up into Ethereum? Not necessarily. When this stilt here was starting off the rally, those things get corrected all the time. I mean, it's like a gap. Then you've got the VPVR. You've got this level just getting beaten to hell. So I'm, and then I was tweeting this out earlier in the week. And I mean, it goes without saying at this point that I can't short that level. It's not in a location that I can take an action on, but I can look for shorts up in here and, go figure. 702 sweet spot came in, fed me. So I do have a short position open on ETH BTC. I scalped a little long this morning, didn't work out. But generally speaking, short ETH BTC. I mean, the market just gave this really nice gift. This was off the Uniswap kind of token excitement. And that's great for me. I was thinking, well, man, this is going to pump us right into my shorter LZ. I don't think it changes anything on the more macro level of the market, as exciting and fun as it is. So I've got my, excuse me, position filled. And obviously you can see from this chart, that might age extremely well. But if I get stopped out, that's these highs here. I wouldn't risk beyond that. And if we dump any lower, I can actually move to break even fairly soon. So, it's not as fun to talk about, guys. I don't like sitting here being the bear, but I certainly like locking in profits, and I certainly like holding on to the things that I did this summer, like the gains I made. And I don't want to, just sit and hope that this goes up. I want to see something on the chart that tells me it's going to, and I just don't. So I've got in a couple positions now that are going to keep me well hedged. And if I'm wrong, and we continue and all that, I've got a few pre-sales I'm in that'll come out. I really hope the market's flying when they come out in the next few weeks and months. So I'm kind of hedged both ways, but generally speaking, leaning short. Holy shit, Link. Okay, so earlier in August, we had guys coming on here talking about, when to short Link. I want to short Link. They were obsessed with shorting it because it was so damn powerful. And generally my thought is don't short the most bullish asset until it gives you a setup. Now, I haven't actually been watching Link too closely, been focusing on some other assets and other things. Um, I don't. I mean, it's definitely flipped bear. That I think goes without saying here. You could argue. Well, let's see the daily. I'm just looking if I would have had a setup come in. Not really, but it was the loss of this level that really confirmed it for me. As far as you have your low. Okay, just a higher low for now. Nothing to panic about. Oh shit, lower high. Failed to reach those highs. Do we have a trend reversal? Well, that's not confirmed until you lose this level. And as you can see, as soon as it closed below, dump. And just like we often talk about, you can usually catch a bounce up into the short LZ. Now, it actually got front run by a pip, which is slightly internally bearish signal, uh, but basically did come up and test the RLZ and now is just crapped out. So another example, same kind of thing, right? Where we get that structure, you wait for it and that's what I was saying on the way up. I was like, dude, when this thing is topped, when there is a short to have, I mean, you won't catch the exact top because that's crazy. You're just gambling if you're trying to call tops on random things with random new highs. But when these shorts come in, when the top comes in, it's usually pretty well telegraphed if you know what to look for. And on that note, I should plug this new video I just made based on a request from Monday's stream. Somebody said, how do you know when a trend is reversing? How can you spot the signals? So I'm cooking up a 3-part mini series on how to spot trend reversals. Part 1, how to identify trends. I actually just finished it before the stream, so I'll be putting that out sometime in the next hours or day, depending on how much polish we need on the post. But hopefully you guys look forward to that. And it just talks about this exact kind of stuff. So you get the high, you get the lower high. Once you get this, there's your lower low, and that just announces, okay, I'm a bear now. And sure enough, second it hit that RLZ, it was short, and now we're going to head down. So I guess the other question you could ask is, well, where are we headed? How far? How long? The thing about trends, it's hard to just say in advance, like, oh, it's going to trend down for this long, whatever. So you can't really do that. That's just throwing out crystal ball shit. But I will tell you this. If it's like every other asset I've traded, it will probably come down to the RLZ of this move, which it's actually already approaching. And there'll probably be some confluence with other levels as well. So, I mean, yeah, at least the 618. That's a fairly standard retrace. Whoops, magnet. So at least that. But given how friggin' ridiculous this move is, I mean, the guy who taught me all this, he'd probably have his fib drawn up from here. And it's like, well, that's not fair. I'm bullish on Link. I mean, it's possible. Look at this thing. It's straight up. It's just not the way markets work. And it's not because it's like not going to be worth $40 one day or something. It's just there's just more profits to be taken in here than there are, dip buyers. There's just an imbalance now. It went too far too fast, as all assets do. And now probably, a keyword, probably, not guaranteed, time for a good old chill time. Now, that to me would look like this. You guys know that I love my sweet spots. And we've got confluence here, right 702. And, does it stop right there? Does it touch the 786? I'll tell you this. If it gets to the 786, which is another level, it's crazy how these things line up. Got two SR levels perfectly aligned at the fib levels. Magic. But I will be buying almost blindly. I would like to buy this 786 almost blindly because I do want a long position on Link. And through all this, I've just been patiently waiting. And if you are patient and you do have that firm grip on yourself to not go and FOMO into shit, you can often catch the entry you want. You just have to wait and often miss some upside to do it. So appreciate the shout for Link. Stinky Linky's here. Yeah. No, that's cool, man. I think it's tricky now. You might be watching this while saying, well, I have a whole bunch of Link, should I sell here? Nah, like, I don't want to give that advice. I would just simply say I'm not buying until we get into this area. And I don't think it's crazy that we do. I don't think it's crazy at all. I think it'd be absolutely normal and arguably still bullish because that's just a higher low on the very high time frames. If I was dying to get out of a position because I don't want to sit there and wait. I mean, if you're really bullish on Link, this shouldn't even matter to you. Just sit there and chill. It's going to change the world, right? But you never know what kind of crazy things can happen. These squeezes up, they do happen. I don't think it is going to happen on this one, but it's almost like if I was holding this, I'd be like, well, I'm not going to just sell here because this is actually a support level. So it's really tricky to make an argument for like using this as an exit. That's crazy, right? This right here, like we talked about, those are potential exits if you're trading actively and you're watching closely. Right now, this is just like an emotional exit. It's like, well, it was fun, but there's so many factors. Did you buy this thing way down here? Then it doesn't matter. Take a little profit, whatever. Generally speaking, though, this is not a level to make a big rash decision. This is where I'm going to be getting long. In fact, I'm going to set an alert right here to remind me 66359. Let's do this. Yeah, if his audio is working, bring him in. I just want to make sure that we're clean. So if we can. All right, Nick's on standby. He's going to bring us in for the Uniswap perp. Diving in. Can't hear him. Okay. False alarm. We're switching back. I'll do the uni though because it is.
Hey guys, coming in once more here on the
George
Uniswap
says
pairs.
tanking, so we're just gonna go back now, dude. We're just gonna leave that for today. We'll fix his sound and get him in here on the next one. Now, I can see comments about uni tanking. Oh my god, I don't even need to be short on this to just like that it's following the TA. That's all I care about, guys. I'm just a TA guy. Okay. AGI and MTL, love that. I'm gonna get those going. So, I mean, yeah, I'm not here to cheer bull or bear on anything. I mean, generally just cheering bull, but God, when these things smack, it just feels so good. Makes my day. I mean, we got 261 lined up perfectly, marking an almost perfect top for now. And so, what to look for? Well, we're gonna have to zoom in because this is still a relatively new coin. If you were being savvy and waiting for your chance to exit and trying to ride this thing and you're like, well, this is definitely the top, same kind of thing, guys. And it's just second nature to me now. Wait for that initial dump. There will be a bunch of bulls stepping in, dip buyers, right? There almost always is. And if you think it's going to crap out, it's probably going to crap out around here. That's where the battle will be won or lost. And so if you want to say bear, well, and then look, you get market buy right back in if you're wrong, right? So yeah, there's probably a decent little short setup coming in here as far as, again, just a short setup, right? I think 40% of the time a good setup is wrong. So you have to be prepared with risk management and all that crap. So let's dive over to, what do we got? Adam, SNTVT, and Soheil's asking about AGI. This is one that I like. It's because of Ben Gortzel. I watched a documentary back in 2008 called Transcendent Man. Highly recommended. It's a really interesting doc, a little dated now, but it's all about Ray Kurzweil. And Ben Gortzel's in that, and he's like the founder of AGI, Singularity Net. So just kind of super validated it for me. And because I'm a big nerd and I like that show, I like this coin. This is an old entry from the spring. No, I do not have that position anymore, but I did make a nice clean profit off it. And for what it's worth, that's just the shit we're always talking about, right? I've got a thing. I'm bullish on it. Don't chase it. Let it come to me. Set my bids. Bing, 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 bing. Filled and gone. Nice to have some validation here on AGI. So let's take a look at what it's doing right now. Yeah, and this is what I'm seeing in a lot of coins, and maybe it's the bear goggles I've got on the high time frames. I've set my bias and I'm working with it, but I just see this all over the place right now. All these little rallies we've just had, they feel good. They're great. It's like, oh yay, the top isn't in. We can keep going. But what is it? It's just a push up into all these short RLZs. And so this doesn't say we're a bull, right? This says it's time to go to the battle zone and find out what happens. And, on a first glance, looks like the bears are losing this one. And that's normal market behavior, guys. That's overextended. And that's why you get cycles. That's why you get bulls. That's why you get bears. All right. And so, is there more risk off in the market right now? Is there more people taking profit and saying, I'll just wait and see, versus people who are eagerly waiting to just start buying right up here? I mean, I'm going to be a broken record today, but this is just what I'm seeing in the market overall. So that's my 2 cents on AGI. If I did have any left, the best way to ride the trend without trying to guess tops is to wait for that big dump, get up into that short RLZ, take your profit. And again, that gives you a nice tight invalidation. If you're wrong and you're dying to get back in, you just, lose a few percent on the being wrong part. So pretty sick stuff there. Let's see. Was there another way to catch this top even more accurately? Probably with a fib extension. So you take that first big impulse rally, and then that might help you guide to where the next one will go. Yeah, well, we're up in that zone now too. So something to be thinking about. Right? Not always going to tell you the sexy things you want to hear, guys, but I'll be honest and just share my my TA with you. And I found actually when I started being more objective about the market and less like moon boyish, I started making a heck of a lot more money. And more important than that, I started holding on to the money that I was making, the gains, because I let a lot go in 2018. I think a lot of people did. I didn't know all this stuff then. I learned it through the bear. I just spent time at TRI and going through the courses and just reading and watching and learning and journaling and paper trading. I mean, it's boring as hell, but so I'm just going to share as much of that shit as I can with you guys. Hopefully stick around. I know the ironic thing is it's bad for engagement. A lot of people are like, oh, screw this guy, he's a bear. It's like, show me a bullish chart and I'll tell you it's bullish. It's unfortunate because people don't want to always hear this shit, and then they're like, unfollow, unsubscribe, dislike, and it's like, well, see, bud, like, can't help you. I'm just not gonna. I refuse to like moon boy just to get engagement. I just won't do it. Sorry. So that's my 2 cents. I just feel like I'm being a super bear today, but it's just what I see, baby. Now, Adam slid through the pump chaser zone, kind of what we talked about so to some extent recently, that I think that the pumps in the market were done and it was just time for RLZs. So I had that on there prior as like the first area of interest. I think it's pretty clear. I mean, this is a really, wait, what is that? That must be from a weekly. I was going to say, because that's not how you would draw a trend line. Yeah, it's on the weekly. So candle body close, extend. Right? Trend lines are not meant to be random, like, oh, just draw it because it fits. I mean, stick it on there with a friggin' magnet and let it tell you where the actual trend line is. And look at that, right to a pip. So that's kind of cool. I think we're at the 618. We're getting into an interest level. There is a key support here. And we'll see how this ages. Adam's actually another one that's sort of on my short list. I don't think I'm in any rush to go get it. Here's the other thing. When it is time, like tops come in very quickly, right? Bing, up, down, right? Staircase up, elevator down. There's not a lot of consolidation at the tops of markets usually, or the tops of moves, as you can see here, But the bottoms take a while to form. You see that? So when these dips come, I'm not rushing in to say, like, just like the top, I need to get the fuck out, which, let's be honest, most people don't do. They want to stay in. They end up getting out somewhere during that retrace. This bottom took July to October to come in. This bottom took from March to July to come in. And technically the trade started here because it's like breakout, get that retest, right? So yeah, I mean, this could be bottom comes in September, January. I mean, January is that time of year. Ethereum historically bottoms in January. And I'm not saying I'm not going to take any longs till January. That's a little crazy and far-sighted. But I will say this. If the market's looking really ugly into January, I'm going to be using all this dry powder to buy it. Let's check out metal. So Heal wants to see what metal's doing. I kind of do too. I had some charts on it. I don't know how outdated they are now. Yeah. So I had this uptrend channel going. Let's check the daily. So again, we talk about trend lines not being great entry points. They're better for exits. And you can see here why. If I was like, okay, cool, we got this trend channel working, I'm just going to buy that. Oh, shit, it broke down, right? Came back in, and now it's just getting bearish retests. So not too much sexiness to do with metal right now. It's definitely in location. You can see that pretty much at a glance. I mean, it's certainly not at the highs. So let's see what it looks like if we give it a little. Whoops. Actually, let's undo that. I want to fix that. So let's drag it right down to get the full picture. Yeah, I mean, we're just chilling in this 88.6. It looks really weak. I think I could buy here because it's a really good location. And you're saying, well, it's so cheap. It's at the lows. But is there any sign that someone's going to come in and support my buys? Do I see any smart money, any whales, coming into because that's who I want protecting my stop loss, right? I don't have the ability. None of us have the ability to move the market necessarily to protect a level. But if I see some big buys coming in and some really strong support showing, and the bulls show up, and I'm like, yo, now those guys are on my side. They're gonna hold this down for me. I'm getting in with the smart money. I just don't see them yet. I mean, there's definitely some nice buy volume that's outweighing the sells. Sells are actually getting kind of lazy. So this could be, this actually could be like the perfect entry. If it's going to be a bull, this is like a perfect entry. But, given my other high time frame bias right now, I mean, hell, take a shot at the lows, but you're just risking to here. Or, you're maybe putting in a tiny little DCA for the future because you love metal. I'm going to wait for this whenever it comes. Okay. It tried to happen here. Okay. It did actually kind of happen here. This is a daily. So in general, metal's just not doing much. I mean, think about all the bullishness in the market. This is what metal did all summer. It's not the sexiest name right now as far as trading trends and trending things. It's trying to make things happen, but it just keeps getting rejected. So I don't know. I'd be interested in the tokenomics. I wonder what inflation's like. I wonder if the team's getting paid in tokens. Like, I don't know. Just looks like there's more selling than buying. Yeah. Yeah. Apoc Nick says, we have enough Moonboy YouTubers. You're doing great, guys. Just find a sensible channel. Yeah, I appreciate that. And hey, if it's going to end up being the best kept secret that we don't hit that huge mark of engagement because we're just given the raw TA, whether it's bullish or bearish, cool. Then we'll be your hidden gem. But I think it'd be more fun to grow the channel because that's going to give us more people in here throwing out ideas. Because really, it's the community in crypto, and I say this even with pre-sales and like all the things I do in crypto. The best edge I have is community, is friends, buddies, and I'm really happy to have you guys here with us, throwing out ideas. Any other charts? Centivate, yeah, okay, I never heard of it, but let's check it out. I just mean to say that I might not even. Okay, Dusk and Ren. Well, okay. So Centivate, remind me about Centivate. Let's check out Dusk. You have a chart on Dusk. I had a long on Dusk. I had to cut my long when my stop loss hit right here. And that was actually the week that I transitioned from pump chaser zone, right? Because this was in the pump chaser zone. I was like, okay, I'll buy that. But if I lose this low, fuck that. I want out. And this is why, right? Because I don't have to, we're sitting on the 702. This is actually a sick level. As far as can I be a bull? We're back into an area where that makes a little bit more sense. Sorry, I'm going to squeeze these down. I don't know why they're so oversized. Now we've got this key SR level right on the 702. So if I'm just like a mega dusk bull and I just want to be like high time frame dollar cost averaging, this is where I would probably start that process. And as a trader, I still need a few more things to happen. I mean, this is not a bad look. We've come into a level. Let's see. We've come into a level. The MACD made a higher low as the price. So this last move down was on lower momentum, right? The momentum indicators suggest. Now the RSI did not. So it's not a sweeping verdict that it's bullish divergence, but that's what I want to see when price arrives at the 702 is that it's arriving slowly. It's like sliding into home plate, nice and easy. So yeah, I don't mind that at all. And I think for me, I'd probably be looking to get a low. I don't want to see it go below that. for now, get a higher low, then get that breakout. And then, if you guys haven't seen it before, I think somebody says their first day here. That's the point actually where wherever that breakout comes, I just chill. I'm not chasing. I don't care. I'm going to mark that wherever it ends up with my fib. And that's the retrace that is usually where I can get in, because it's the breakout, then that retest, the shakeout, so to speak. And that's where you get the real move up. See if I can see an example on this chart alone. Yes. Let's dive into the example here, because that actually illustrates it beautifully. So you can actually see that happening right here, and I'll show you. It's nice to actually be able to see what the hell I'm talking about once in a while. So right here, you had a low, you had a higher low, you had the breakout. So this technically was a breakout. Actually, if you have this, there's actually a few things going on here, but generally speaking, this the breakout or is this the breakout? Well, either way, I can already tell. Bring right down and tag that 618. So after this breakout, there was a 618 tag. Could have been a good entry, right? After the larger breakout, 702 tag, sick. And then that, right? So that's what I'm talking about. And that's why people say, trading takes patience. Like, you have to see the thing that you are bullish on break out. And this is a daily. So that's like 1 day. Oh no, 2 days. Oh God, 3 days. Oh no, I've missed it, right? That's patience. It's balls of steel. And mostly what it is just not caring about this one asset, right? That's a huge life-changing thing that happened to me. I stopped marrying any one asset. They all have good stories, some better than others, but nobody knows out of whatever, 2,600, 6,400 coins. I think there's 250 new coins on Uniswap a day. Nobody knows which ones are going to be the next Google, Microsoft, whatever. But I know that a lot of them, probably the entire freaking market of quality ones, are going to go up. So I don't care which one I catch, but the one I catch is going to be in my zone, on my terms, from strength, high risk, high reward return, right? High risk reward. Okay. That one change that I made through 2019 has saved me a lot of money and helped me make a lot of money. If I love DUSK tons, I'd have to start buying up here, but no, I just chill and wait. So if that happens here, great. If not, we might have to visit that 786. Eventually, that kind of thing is going to happen, unless this thing just dies, which is always possible, but highly improbable, like less than 0.25%. By the way, that's 16%. So yeah, very, very unlikely. Let's get a couple more. We are getting near the top of the hour. It is Friday. We do actually have a meeting over at Hero Labs, but it's not just this minute. So let's stretch it here. Let's say 3 more, and I will make them quicker. We're going to go rapid fire. I really want to look at Centivate because you asked, and it just, yeah, thank you. Okay, let's take a look at Centivate. Full disclosure, never heard of this one. Don't know what it does. Dude, uncanny. Like, you guys are gonna know what I'm gonna say, right? Because we're seeing this all over the market. I've got it on fib extension mode, so let me just flip that. But have we not seen this so many times today? Right? Highs, dump. This is a big short RLZ week for altcoins, which makes me very uncomfortable. I mean, comfortable if I'm in a short, but uncomfortable being bullish on this move up. This is a risky area, right? When you live in Fib Town, you gotta have those. So that's my 2 cents right away. Just looking at it, pretty sick. Came right down. You can just see it, right? 702 again, 702 again. I mean, it's unreal. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on Centivate. Very quick and dirty. Careful right here. If I'm dying to get in, because we did look. I mean, look, we hit the RLZ. We had the thing, right? Comes in, goes up, comes in, makes a breakout. So what we just talked about, and I would do in this one if I really wanted to be a bull, is wait for that move and then hunt here. Because here I'm close to an invalidation level. Because obviously if I want to go long on it, I don't want to hold it if it breaks below here. It's not going up, it's going down. It's silly. So I want to get into a place where it's near that so that I can have a larger position maintaining the same amount of risk on my portfolio. So yeah, and this just like perfect smack. So I would say this thing will chill. And it's not even like, oh, I'm predicting it's going to go down there. I'm just not interested unless it does. Go wherever it wants. But if I'm getting it, it's going to be in here. Thoughts on Sendivate next. Oh God, don't ask. Please don't ask me to chart MTA. Just kidding. I'll do a very quick one on it because I need the perp though. I think it's the perp that I have charted. Yeah. I mean, this thing is just death. And I'm sorry, we talked about this last week though. Like I had a position on MTA at $5 way back when it was really sexy and new, wherever that is. Yeah, somewhere around here. And I sold it at like 7. Whap, whap. Like, yeah, I didn't trade it based off this chart. I should probably start doing that more, but a lot of these are just done for the streams. But other than that, like we said last week on the stream, it has to reclaim this FI level for us to get interested. And as it tried to do that, a lot of people said, nah, I'm not interested. I'm going to sell here, get the hell out, because they were probably trapped bulls. That's why you get these sick retests, right? People that lose their level, they say, well, if I get back to my level, I'm getting out. And that's why you get that retest. Right now, not to just throw it away as a bad idea, let's just see what is going on with MTA. Boop. Boop. Yeah, I mean, just there. You guys loving this 702 shit yet? Another perfect tap. Get that on your chart, guys, just in case you don't know how to do it. I'm going to just quickly show you my template. So I have colors. These are my numbers. And if you're on TradingView, you can actually save it. So I have all these different templates of my fibs. So you don't have to set it up every time. If you're on ChartX or Uniswap Vision trying to do all that, you kind of have to set it up. You don't have the templates. So get on TradingView. Highly recommend it. Love this thing. Sorry, it paid for itself a few times. Now, yeah, so I don't know. Obviously, if I'm getting long on MTA from here, I'm not holding it below this because it's more negative price discovery. And it's generally just trending down, right? High, like lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. So let's get a significant shift in the trend for me to get interested in this one. But yeah, if you want to be a snipey, gambly, degen scalper, you are in the RLZ and you do have your lows to risk against. And of course, if you're right, your upside would be fairly inexhaustible. But I don't know. Not my style. It's a little gambly for me, especially given, again, my higher time frame. What's it called? Whatchamacallit? Bias. Now, Ren. BTC, I'm assuming? Ooh. Right now, saying the same thing again. If I was calling bear on Ren up here, people would be dumb. I'd be saying, well, I'll be interested back down here. Well, here we are at this sweet little level, 786 SR flip. I actually really like this location on Ren. If I'm going to take a position, I need to be in an area like this. So great shout, whoever did that. We've just made a new low. And, same kind of thing we saw in the majors here, right? It did bounce. It didn't even get to that retest level. And as soon as it decided it's not going to get there, it just crapped. Oot. So something to keep an eye on. Yeah, DCA. I mean, I don't own any Ren, and I'm quite bullish on it in general. So, maybe this is a level. Now, this is all consolidated up here. What happens if I pull it down? Uh-oh. To do the full... Oh, God. Of course, everyone but the one I want. What if I get the full picture? I mean, we talked about this Monday. It's kind of cool. This is just the thing about fibs. They still work, right? It's still just sitting at the 618 now. So that's still like a valid tag if I draw it this way or the other. I would be on the higher time frame because I do have this thoughts around midterm pivot in the market, election, end of year tax selling, blah, blah, blah. S&P making lows, like, breaking range lows. That is, so yeah, I'd be more inclined to look at this larger picture and, huge move up, big dump, big follow-up dump. Is it just going to go to new highs tomorrow? Probably not, as we know, right? Highs come in pretty quickly in markets. The lows, they take a little while. So my 2 cents, my guess, is that we'll have to chill here, whether it's above the 618, whether it's below, whether we're going to sweep these lows here, whatever it is. It's not going to be fun. It's not going to be exciting. It's going to bore the shit out of you, get you out of your positions. That's what the market's great at doing. And if this thing is going to go to new highs, which I imagine it will someday, it's going to do it after bored to shit. So I'm not rushing on any of these, but I am watching closely, because as soon as I get this kind of thing, where I get the higher low and then that, ooh, baby, I'm interested. So we're getting there. We're getting there. It's going to be soon-ish. And that's coming from like a 2.5 year bear market mentality. Like it's going to be, I think, again, I really like January. I'm excited about January. And what can we do for the next few months? Well, we can watch some things. We can hunt setups in either direction through the chop. We can collect dry powder. We can be ready, because I will be on here talking about this when it happens. And when it happens, the signals are going to be pretty clear. And the potential upside is going to be friggin' astronomical if we're going to head into a big cycle. So be pumped. We are going to wrap on that today, guys. I've got a few charts here that I'm seeing requests for: algo, MTA, seller, DIA. I will be around a lot tonight and this weekend doing some charts, putting them out on Twitter. So if I didn't get your coin yet or at all, keep an eye on the Twitter or ping me at Random Task in the trading pit, and I'll be happy to hang out in there a little bit this weekend as well. I think I'll end on Neo, because I just looked at my other screen here and kind of squeezing me, but I'll tell you why I'm not scared at all about that. Aside from the fact that I manage risk and I fully accepted the potential of loss. But look at this. This is actually like providing an entry right now. So we had this, saw this dump, and I thought, holy crap, we got the wedge on the other chart and all that crap. So I was like, okay, here's my interest level, tight. And then you can already see, right? You guys, are you seeing fibs in your head yet? Because we're back up into one now. Just another one, fractal closer. So this squeeze doesn't make me want to close my position. I'm not going to add. I've already got a fairly sizable one. Certainly not guaranteed it's going down, but I think the odds are in my favor. And if not, I got a Titan validation. So I will be keeping an eye on Neo. It's my only active sort of futures trade right now. But if it's going to happen, ooh, baby. Newton, no. Let's wrap with the BTC Neo chart, because I mean, this is actually the one that just has a slightly sexier looking thing. Like if that breaks down and my invalidation is like right there, it's going to be a sunny Christmas, isn't it? All right. Well, let's keep an eye on this one. I will have some alerts, and I'll keep updating on Twitter as well. Have a wonderful weekend, guys. Really appreciate you coming out to watch. If you haven't already, sub to the channel so that we know you love what we're doing. And if you have any comments or requests or things you like or want to know more about, hit us up in the comment area and throw us a like while you're at it. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. Oh, we going back? Oh, yeah. All right. Have a great weekend, everybody. And really appreciate you guys coming out as always. And yeah, always play from a position of strength.